Hi team. Now that we have seen how raw materials are inverted and GR'd into the warehouse, and now we are at a position where our warehouse has all the stock required for going to production. We'll look into production process deeply in this video. We will look at the different processes, different steps in the process, like how we start the production process, how it goes to WIP, and how it comes to FG. So we'll cover the entire process in this video. And before I start, I want to just recapture the context of two situations where you actually go for production. You go and produce a material when you have an order to be fulfilled or you want to build stocks. So the first situation is called made to order, when you have an order and you want to fulfill it. That is called made to order. And then the second category is when you want to build the stock of the finished good, which is called made to stock. So as mentioned, one is made to order and one is made to stock. Now, if you remember well, in the beginning of the video, we had mentioned that when an order confirmation is created, automatically work orders are created. So if you go to production module, and this is a production account, and then you look at the work orders, you can clearly see that there are two work orders that is created for the demo finished good one. We see two entries because if you remember well, in the order confirmation we had mentioned different delivery dates. So one was for the coming Wednesday and one was for the coming Saturday. So because of that reason, you will see two work orders created already. So now this is one way of starting the production. So what you can do is you can select this one and you can click on start process. So this is in case when you're actually manufacturing against order. And the category is when you want to just start manufacturing in order to build up the stock. So in such a case, you go to the all production process and just start off a process and go ahead with it. So in this demonstration, we will go through the made to order scenario. So let's just say there are two work orders. For the simplicity's sake, we will only use one work order. So once you select this work order, we can start the process. So once you do that, you will see this item, and then they will ask for the bill of material, which bill of materials to be picked up. So it will pick up the default bill of material and what is the number of units that we are looking to produce. And what this is important, where we mention what is the FG store. The FG store must be updated correctly, and the raw material store should be mentioned correctly, and the scrap store should be mentioned correctly as well. So once this is done, you click on submit. So in this case, the production process is in planned state. So the moment you uh, create a production process, as mentioned here, you see the production process is in a planned state. Now, once we look into the details of this and once we verify all the information, 5 units, and we will see, and in this you will get to see the details, like how many units are required. Current stock is 50 and 20, and estimated raw materials is 25 and 10, because we are not producing 10 units but we are only producing half of it. So we only need this much amount of items, and these are the operations. And so once you feel everything is correct, you go ahead and publish. The moment you publish this process, now the process goes into a pending state. So as mentioned here, once you publish the process goes into a pending state. Now the work has not started yet because we need to get the raw materials first. Now how do we do that is the critical part. Now if you scroll down on the production process, you will see finished good, what we are producing, and in raw materials, you will see these are the raw materials required, and you will also see a button here which says issue. So what you have to do is you have to click on this issue, and when you click that, automatically it will give you a pop-up and it gives the estimated RM here. This is depending on the bill of material data. So if you want the same number of items to be allotted, which will this will be the case almost, you click on this and automatically it comes here and then you save. So this process is the process by which you are requesting these raw materials from the warehouse team. Okay, now once you do that, you can see that your production process has gone into WIP, but at the same time you're not able to move anything here because it shows inventory approval pending, because now you've raised a request for the allotment of raw materials. Now if you go to the store account, now the store account holds the inventory rights. So now if you go to the store account and you click on inventory and then you click on inventory approval, you can see that there's a pending approval here. It is coming from the process ID 00014. So this particular process has requested, you can see process RM, please process this raw materials is the type of document, and this approval status is pending, and it is created by the production team, and on this particular date you will get the detail here. So right now we are here. So until this point it was production team, now it has gone to the warehouse team for approval. So once the warehouse team approves this, so you can click on, the warehouse manager has to click on it, so he'll see it as pending, and the warehouse team can approve it. So the moment the warehouse team approves it, so this is a document that is generated. So at this point the warehouse manager can take a printout of this particular document, so as a reference for the material issued, and at the same time the amount of quantities that was approved goes down from the stock value. So in order to just check that, if you look at inventory and item master, you will see -10 and -25. If you click on it, click open and see, you can see how this has happened because of the process ID, and in the bracket it is given the approval document number as well. So now you see that the raw material stock has also gone down and the material is allotted. So this is the stage where material is allotted and the warehouse team has got a document to file saying that this was requested by this production team and we are approving this much amount, we are allotting this much amount. So this way one document is also created, and we have just crossed this stage. The material has been approved, and if you go to production team's account and look at all the production processes, and if you click on this, now you see it is in WIP and the raw materials are allocated. Now is the time when it is actually going into production. Now if you see, it is being, this much is allotted and we are using this. Now let me take you through the different operations. So currently we will not be using this in our day-to-day operations, but for example I'm just want to show how this works. So now these are the different stages. Now the production manager has the capability to step by step mark what all processes are complete. So now if you look at this particular process, you will see key for these many demo finished goods, the fabric cutting is done but stitching and upholstery is pending. So let's say after some time, if the fabric stitching is done, and then you mark that, and in that case you will see the stitching is also done. And then again, if you click on the last one, you can add a comment here, whatever if required, and once you save that, you will see all the operations are done. So 1 2 3, all of them are done. So now, which means raw materials is allocated and all the operations are complete. Now what we can do, which means that the finished good is ready. So if you see again in the process, you will see the next step, as you see, is mark FG produced. Now in the FG segment, there is an option for mark FG produced, and again this will give you a pre suggested value, which is what we are following in this case. So you click on this, so this 5 moves here, and you click on save changes. So the moment this is done, you have marked the FGS produced. So now if you look at the next step, FG is ready, and next step is QC is awaited. So due to the limitations of the Tranzact ERP, this particular QC request is not going to the QC manager, but instead it has to be operated at the same production level itself. So for now, in the Transact, we will just make sure that the production manager itself is marking the FG testing. So again, come to take the production process and come to the finished goods segment, move on more actions. There is FG testing, and you click on FG testing, and you can mention out of the 5 how many has passed and how many has gone to repair. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm not showing you a use case of a reject here. So we'll just go ahead and uh, mark everything as tested. Okay, so now what happens is, when you mark something as tested, the production team is saying that this product is perfectly ready and it has to be counted as one stock unit. Like, so again, this it goes for the approval of inventory manager, because Transact is assuming that FG and raw materials both are managed by the store manager. So for that reason, this comes for approval again. So if you look at the inventory approval tab in the inventory, you can see this process FG request type has come for the same, with all the same data. So you take this, you approve it. Once you approve it, again as before, you take a print of it and file it, saying that you have received this item into the FG warehouse from the production team. So now once this step is complete, if you refresh this particular production process, you can see that the inventory approval is gone. Now the next action is completing the process. The moment you complete the process, it says that stock will be added, but stock was previously added. This is a bug in Transact. So anyway, once you click on complete, this production process is completed. So we went through, so right now we are at this point where we did a FG testing and we send it to the inventory team for approval. They approved it, and the moment they approved it, the product is added into the FG warehouse, and then you can click on the complete process button. So this process is marked as complete. This is how the entire workflow of process happens.